Excel tips, and first tip is getting data from a particular folder having a number of files. Generally what I tend to do is like I will open each file, copy paste in different file, but here we have one feature, get table from file from folder. So once you select the folder, it will just read the folder and it will just show the list of files and date created, modified and all. If you want to combine, you can just combine and load. Once you select that, you just evaluate the Power Query. So, and we will have the source name and the file. For example, currently in that folder we have only two files. So here we have only two files, Jan and Feb. So once we load, we got all the files. In case if we add any new file to the same folder, what we can do is just we can after adding, if we just refresh and this one, we will be able to see the new data file as well. So this is the first tip, getting data from the folder. Next,
Jairam, one question. Okay, this, if both the files have same sheet, or like multiple sheets, would it combine the like it will give us choice to select which sheet are we trying to combine in both the files, or?
Yeah, it will just give us option to select the sheets. Like once if we select from files, we add the preview screen showing the files modified, right? There, if you tap the file, you can select the sheets.
Okay.
And also there is an option to skip file which is not of this data structure, or even if it finds some error, you can just check your box to skip the files which have errors also.
Okay, so it will show if, let's say, a particular sheet is not available in a file, it will show that file.
Yeah, it will just show some error and you can skip it.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
So second one, text to column. So generally if you have data of this format, like obviously we can use the string function find length and all, but in Excel we have some feature, text to columns. First we will select the range and then we will select data. Here we have an option text to columns. So it will just ask us, it's like delimited or fixed width. For example, if the data structure is uniform and you have first 4 characters of some state and next pin code, in that case we can go for fixed width. Anyway, here we don't have any organized way, and even the characters width are changing across the rows. So we will go with the delimiter, but we can see some commas. And next, so here we have comma. So you can preview how it looks. Once this is done, name, separate, order ID and category. Okay, next. I think I forgot to select the option with table selectors. So here we have name. Already supposed to come in this one, but since we have comma here, it got separated like that. And though there were no comma between the order and ID, there was some space. It took that space and it got separated.
The reason for it to take space as a delimiter, because while specifying the delimiters, you even check the space option too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So now we have name already and category separately. So instead of using text function, we can just use this text to columns. If we have a correct delimiter and it is of consistent format, we can go further. To navigate to that, we have to select the data field, then you have to move to text to columns. Next, quickly we will move on to the custom list. So custom list, what I mean by custom list is if you type like some month or something, in Excel we have the feature once you type the month, so by default, like after February, March, April, May, June, like all those things are coming. For example, if we are using some sort of like subcategory which you will be repeatedly using instead of copying pasting everywhere, and we can have like custom list, some sort of thing like this. So to do that, file options, then advanced, here there will be general, okay, general, edit custom list. So if you look here, like already by default Excel has Sunday, Monday, all those things. That's why when we type in something and pull, we are getting it. Similarly, if you want, we can add our own custom list as well. So now we have selected this list, and once we give import, we will have our own custom list. Like how we have these days, months and all, we will have our own custom list. So now if we type chats, we will have our own custom list. So it's irrespective of the order, like wherever you start, it will just start and complete one cycle. Like how we have these months and days, we can have our own custom list. But again, to navigate it, you have to just go to file, options, advanced, then here there will be general, then edit custom list. So this, so we got to add the custom list.
Jairam, a quick question. Is this new custom list only available in this workbook, or it will be available across all the Excel workbooks?
I think it might be available across all. Let's check that quickly. No, I think it's available only for the tool.
No, can you type chairs? It's spelling error.
Yeah, I think it's available across all the workbooks.
Okay, got it.
So we move on to the next one, rich data type. So what this rich data type does is, like currently I have selected the maybe we'll go with the company first. So we have the list of companies here, but once we tap in stock, what happens is Excel has by default inbuilt feature, so related to those particular companies. So if you would like to look at the employee size, exchange abbreviation, high industry, some of the inbuilt feature about the companies, which Excel by default it has. So for example, shares outstanding. Or if you want to look at the instrument type, flow, market cap, name, official name, all these details, you can just view based on the company. But I think like for some companies, we don't have results. It's because like by default, Excel doesn't have that option or details about that company. So this is one feature. People call this as data rich data type. So here it's not limited only to company shares and all. We have like some more things like activity, anatomy, animals, chemistry. We'll try some of them. So next we'll move on to the community. We have the job. So since there are like many Ireland, it's giving suggestion which one we want to select. Let's go with the first one only. Forecasted area, households, fossil energy, like some details, even national anthem, official language. So all these details we can just have with this option. Even we have cities, even universities and all. We will check the last one, chemistry alone. On to the next step. We have the field image, number of proton resistivity, balance. So these are features we have. Let's check the atomic number. So related to these elements, we will have all these details. This I found somewhat interesting. So Next one, fuzzy matching. So what this does is, so generally in Excel to get the value, you can use VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, all those things. There are some chances, even though we have that option that exact match true false, but to some extent it may not work. So to do that, we can try some other way to just get the mapping. That's known as fuzzy matching. To do that, we need Power Query. So close and load to and make it connection only. So we have our table only here. We simulate for the second table as well. Okay, close and load to only create connection. Okay. So now we have a table 1 and 2. To merge that, we will right click and select the merge. And table 1 is here. Here we will pull in the table 2. Now we have these two tables. Since anyway we have only one value, we can just select it and left auto to join. And use fuzzy matching to perform the rings. You can see there are like only 6 matches out of 7 from first table. And also there are some option here to just like have a control over the matching. For example, if you type in 1 over here, it won't match. This is kind of like what to say, like to fix the complexity of matching. If you want it to be lenient, you can just type 0.2, then it will match 7 out of 7. So these are like optional values, though you didn't type by default. It will take some value, ignore case, and match by combining text parts and maximum number of matches. For example, here we have like 100 and 200. If you want to limit it only to 2, like one field not mapping to 3, then you can just restrict for each number of matches. And transformation table optional, I'm not sure what this does. So except this, these all are the additional features. It's kind of like not mandatory, just an optional one. So just for the timing, I will just enter 0.2. So here we can see the matching, though it's not exact match, but it was kind of like convincing match. So this is known as fuzzy matching. And just a quick recap. So we have two tables. We will just import them in Power Queries, and we will establish them only as connections. Once we establish as connections, then we will merge them. While merging, we will just use the fuzzy matching thing, and we will have one control over the threshold limit. And once if you do that, you will be able to get the matching, like approximate matching. And quickly we'll move on to the next step. Name the constant. So what it does is, like if you have some value, for example this value which I want to save, instead of like type giving the cell reference everywhere, in formula just I will have like my equal to my value. So whatever I have saved, it will be like my value. So there is no need to remember the value, but there are more chances. What happens is, for example, here you are changing it to 40, it will get changed. So to avoid that, we have in formula define name. So instead of like having cell reference and referring them, for example, so in this case, no one will have access to change the cell value. So it's better to go by this way than this. So instead of remembering the value, you can just use the name manager and give the name to that cell. But since there are chances where chances of just replacing this value, we will go with the option from formulas, define name. So if you do that, so the value won't be visible anywhere. Even if you want to change, you can go back to that name manager and you'll be able to change it. So here we have my value 1 and the value is given. You can just edit it. And the last tip, what we have is the advanced filters. So as everyone might be aware of, the normal filters control should tell like you will have control over the category or furniture something. But advanced filter has like more flexibility of pulling the data from here to some other sheet or even to some other place. So for advanced filter, 3 things we need. As once you go here, you can see that list of range. This comes from the data source, and next we have criteria range, so filtering condition which we have to give, and filter list in place and copy to another location. These are 2 options we have. Filter list in place in the sense it will filter the existing data source only, or if you want to copy to another location, you can just either irrespective of like even if you want a new sheet, you can just copy it. I'll try to demo it. So currently let's check category as furniture and these 2 as criteria. And I don't want to copy the entire, like all the columns. I want only till sales. So I'll just copy the headers and I'll paste it here. Okay. Next, let me open the advanced filter. Filter the list in place. Copy to another location. Anyway, the range has come like A1 to K9. Next, criteria range. So this is the criteria range and copy to. Here we got the list of fields. Even if you want to filter that in the existing table only, we can like filter it here as well. So these are all the tips I had for today.